I am Linda, and today we are going to continue where we left off last week. I am going through the tips on how to move from dysfunctional and traumatized towards empowered, healing, and growing. Welcome to this week's episode. Last week, I went through how to keep yourself motivated or how to keep a motivated attitude through your life, how to find things to motivate you, and I even touched a little bit on how to define what motivates you. So, what is accountability? Accountability is the willingness to accept the consequences of your choices, of your behaviors, of your actions. This means that you do not blame others when things go wrong, because accountability says that you are accountable for your reaction. You cannot blame someone else for your results or for the lack of results. You cannot blame someone else for your behavior. So if you go to a bar on a Friday evening or on a Saturday evening and you drink too much, you cannot blame someone else for inviting you to the bar, because you still have the choice to accept the invitation or the choice to not accept the invitation. I, for one, think that accountability is such a difficult word because there's the difference between accountability and responsibility. And I think many times it's so difficult to define what is being accountable and what is taking responsibility. So this episode, I will focus a little more on defining what accountability has meant for me, what it means for me, and I will even share like the general definition of accountability, and then we will touch just briefly on how to think regarding accountability for yourself. I mean, like adjust accountability to your own situation. When you're accountable, you start doing the things you are supposed to be doing, and you start doing the things that you plan to do, that you think are going to give you the results that you want, because you become the master of your own destiny. That was a good one, wasn't it? I perfectly love this. I am the master of my own destiny. But what does that mean? Because usually when you say you're master of your own destiny, it means that you probably know your destiny. But what is your destiny? And are you accountable for it? So accountability, we are really speaking about accountability, not destiny. Accountability is being the master of your own actions, the master of your own thoughts, the master of your own behaviors, and the master of your results. So you know what results you want, and you know what actions and behaviors and words and resources you need to get the results that you want. So you don't blame anyone else. It's about you. Everything is about you. So then you wonder, how should I use accountability to achieve what I want to achieve or to move towards my goals, the results that I want? And I give this back to you. Do you know how you have sometimes things you plan to do, things you think I should do that, or I must do that, or to achieve this, I need to do this. But you never really get to doing those things that you know that you're supposed to do, that you really understand must be done in order for you to achieve what you're supposed to achieve. And do you know how you never do those things? And then when I come along and ask, oh, but you said you're going to college, and say, yeah, but then I got married, and then, we got a baby, and then I really couldn't go to college, and my boyfriend doesn't like me going to college because he doesn't trust me. Those are excuses. And everything you're saying is blaming on someone else, the child, the marriage, the boyfriend, the husband. It's everything. You're moving it from yourself and giving the responsibility to someone else. But the thing is, those things that you say that you're going to do, that you need to do, and you plan to do them, and then you don't do them, you don't hold yourself accountable for the not doing the things that you have said you're going to do. Through my life, I have met people who plan to do something forever, or plan to stop doing something forever. I have met, for example, people who drink too much, and they have told me from the first time I meet them, I really want to stop drinking. It's such a waste of money. And I say, yeah, that's a good idea, of course. And then you meet them 3 years later and they tell you the same thing. And you meet them 5 years later and they tell you the same thing. And the question is always, why do you say you want to do it if you know that you will not do it? And what do you use to follow up? Do I really want to do this? And am I really going to do this? Because that is the whole question. Because accountability means you will have to follow yourself up. I said I will stop drinking. Why haven't I stopped drinking? Because once you know that, then you will know how to try again. But if you never ask yourself, why didn't I stop drinking? Although I said that I will stop drinking, you will never really answer the question of, will I ever stop drinking? So you will keep promising me, and I don't have to have your promise because your drinking is not hurting me, or you are hurting yourself because you're giving yourself promises that you don't keep, and that actually hurts you. You disappoint yourself. So the biggest challenge when it comes to accountability is actually finding out, what is it do you want to be accountable for? Do I want to stop drinking? Do I want to stop smoking? Do I want to start reading books? Or do I want to read that one book that I really want to read? Or do I want to go to college? Do I want to get married? Or maybe you're already married. Do I want to make my marriage better? Maybe you're dating someone. Do I want to make my relationship better? So you need to, this goes for everything actually. It goes even for motivation. It goes for shamelessness. What is it you want to achieve? And once you have decided what you want to achieve, will you hold yourself accountable for the actions? Because everything takes every day. Every day you have to do one thing that moves you towards your goals. If you're going to stop drinking, you have to stop drinking today. So you won't go drinking on Friday this week. You won't go drinking on Saturday. If you want to stop smoking, you have to stop buying cigarettes today. You can't say, I will stop tomorrow. Maybe you can say that. Of course you can say that. But every time I have said I am going to start tomorrow, it never happens. Because tomorrow, then I have no motivation. I'm like, today I have a headache, so I really need a cigarette. And it's the same with alcohol. Yeah, but my friends, they're coming tomorrow, so I can't leave. And then I have my relatives coming on Saturday, so I can't stop drinking. So you never really, so if you're going to do something, start today. And make the rules for it today. And make yourself accountable today. And I will give you an example of how you can keep yourself accountable. So when you have a boyfriend and he calls you up on a Saturday afternoon and he says, you, darling, can we meet tonight? Yeah, of course we can meet tonight, sweetheart, you say. And then he says, I will pick you up at 7 o'clock. And you're so happy, you're excited. I'm going for a date. He is coming and maybe this is the love of your life. And at 7 o'clock, you wait for him to knock or call. He doesn't. And then you call his telephone. Of course, that's what we do. Hello, are you coming to pick me up? And the telephone is off. Or he answers and says, yeah, I'm on my way. Give me 20 minutes. Perfect. You wait a little bit and it's 7:30. Nothing. It's 8 o'clock. Nothing. And now you don't want to be pushy. So you just wait. You think, I have to wait. And 9 o'clock, nothing has happened. And now you call and ask him, were you coming at 7 or were you not coming at 7? And he says, oh, something came up, so I'm not coming. I'm sorry, I will see you tomorrow. Now, when that happens, when he comes tomorrow, if he comes the next day, what do you usually do? You ask him, what was that about? Why didn't you come yesterday? You said you would come. I waited for you. What happened? And when you ask the question, you want an answer. I mean, this is for the normal dating people. There are people who don't ask the questions because they don't want to lose the guy or the girl, so they just go along with this kind of crap. But if you really have some integrity and some accountability for your life, you ask. You said you would come yesterday at 7. I waited for you and you didn't come. what happened, right? This is the same thing you do for yourself. When you promise yourself to do something and you don't do it, you do the same. You ask yourself, you said you would read this book. It's been here for 4 months. You haven't read the book. Why? What happened? Why don't you want to read the book? And maybe you find answers in your own head. Oh, because I don't like that book. It wasn't interesting. Okay, then maybe you should read another book. Or you said, I will go to college. You have to ask yourself afterwards, did you go to college? If yes, oh, that was very good. You speak to yourself, it's in your head. And it's the same if you didn't go to college. Why didn't you go to college? You ask yourself. And you explain to yourself too, yeah, we didn't have any money, so I am supposed to be saving for college next year. But you don't just ignore it. That's the whole point with accountability. If you just ignore it, then you are ignoring your accountability for yourself and for your actions and for your choices and for your behaviors, which means you're also ignoring your accountability for your results. Eventually, you will blame something for them or someone. And that's where we don't want to come, because once you start blaming other people or other things or the weather or the matatu or the train, then you're screwed. You're not going to do it because someone else has responsibility for that. So you need to ask yourself, what did I promise myself and did I do it? That's the whole point. When it comes to accountability, it's a difficult word also because of how we feel about it. Because what we are saying is nobody else is to blame for my failures. For my successes, I am responsible for my successes. But for my failures, I don't want to take responsibility for that. It is someone else's fault. And this also is the other side of accountability. But you have to ask yourself, when the boyfriend didn't show up at 7 o'clock as promised, or if it's your husband who didn't come home, and if you didn't ask him where he was, how does that feel? How do you feel that you didn't ask? There is the disappointment that he didn't keep his promise, but there's the disappointment in yourself that you didn't even stand up for yourself and ask, why did you say you would do it and didn't do it? And this is the same with us when we promise ourselves things that we don't give to ourselves. So for example, if you promise yourself that you're going to finish a project, that you're going to study, that you're going to pass that exam, that you're going to start that business, or that you're going to grow that business, sometimes the promise is that you are going to be a better person. You're going to be a better mother. You're going to be a better wife or husband. And when you don't do it, and you don't follow up with yourself, it's the same disappointment that you feel when someone else disappoints you. Only this time, you're disappointed with yourself, which means you're going around blaming yourself internally. You probably don't know about it, but you are doing it. Think, what kind of person am I? I was supposed to take myself to college. I was supposed to start a business. I was supposed to make this relationship work, or I was supposed to leave this relationship. It's always something that you promise yourself you're going to do. And this disappointment, it keeps you stagnant. Because as you stop trusting a partner who promised to do something and doesn't keep their promise, it is the same. You stop trusting yourself. You stop trusting that you have your best interest at heart. You stop trusting that you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do. You start questioning yourself. And you lose this deep, the deep belief you have in yourself that you have yourself, you have your own back. You start to lose that. And that's also one of the things that make us stagnate when we don't hold ourselves accountable for our actions. And we want to move away from that. We want to start holding ourselves accountable for everything that we say we are going to do for ourselves. And this is just one-sided. In the next step, you start holding yourself accountable for the promises you make to other people. But you have to start with yourself. You always have to start with yourself. If you don't teach yourself to hold yourself accountable, you cannot hold someone else accountable. You will not have the energy, you will not have the trust, you will not have the confidence, you will not have the empowerment, because that's when you start holding yourself accountable, you start to build an empowerment inside of yourself that makes you hold someone else accountable. For me, it was an education. I really wanted to have my own job. And there we were. And at one time or another, you miss a course, or you miss a whole year, or you miss a few months. And for me, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to finish my education. And to finish my education meant that sometimes I had to do the reading late at night, do the exams after everyone else has done them. And in the end, I actually had to take myself to college, to night courses, to complete some courses. You know, these bridging courses, they say bridging courses. And I had to, this is where I learned to hold myself accountable. Because if I didn't do that, I would never finish it. In the first place, I opened a business. So I had an income, or two businesses at some time. I had two businesses at the same time. And with two businesses at the same time, I have an income. So I don't need an education, do I? So to hold myself accountable for me meant that I actually told myself, you wanted this degree so much, you have to do this for yourself. Even if you never use it, you still need to do it for yourself. So you have it, and so you remember that you have kept your promise to yourself. And that is the first example I had of me actually keeping a promise to myself and holding myself accountable in the evenings, in the early mornings, through exams. Sometimes I failed an exam and I had to do it twice or thrice, and that is so embarrassing. But because I have promised myself to do it, I do it anyways. I have experience in this, holding yourself accountable, pushing your boundaries, asking yourself questions. Why aren't you doing that? You're supposed to be doing that. So you can do it too. Of course you can do it. Just start with something. What do you want? What is your biggest dream? What have you been planning to do with your life? Start doing it now and start holding yourself accountable for that. Because you are accountable for the results, you need to know the results that you want. What results do you want? Do you want a better education? Do you want a better relationship? Do you want to read more books every year? Is it a business you want to start? The list is long of the things that we want to do, and we all want different things. So by yourself, define what is it you want to do with your life. And once you have done that, then you have also to ask yourself, which actions do I have to perform every day? Or which words do I have to say every day? Or which habits do I have to develop? Or what is it you have to do every day that you have to hold yourself accountable for every day to check that you're doing them towards the results that you have told yourself that you want? In some instances, you have to come home in the evening and actually ask yourself, did I do what I was supposed to do today? Did I read those 2 pages? Did I call that agent? Did I speak to my husband or to my wife the way that I am supposed to speak to them if I am going to build a good relationship with them? So this is the accountability part. You have to check with yourself every day. Am I doing the things that I am supposed to do to get to where I am supposed to get? To hold yourself accountable all the time. So I will end this episode with a question. What are you accountable for at this moment? And what do you want to be accountable for in the future? Start today to be accountable for the things that serve your purpose, that serve your goals, and that lead you to your results. Today we spoke about accountability, and accountability is defined as the ability and the willingness to accept the consequences of your actions of your choices and of your behaviors. Next week, I will be speaking about resourcefulness, and I love speaking about resourcefulness. It's the art of utilizing every little resource you get to serve your purpose and to reach your goals. And resourcefulness is also the ability to find the resources you need at the right time for the right purpose, so they serve you in every step of your journey towards your goals and towards your results. Subscribe to the channel, join our Facebook group, and follow me on Instagram. And we see you next week. Bye-bye.